Hub Arkish in Chicago, don't know him, longtime Chicago sports writer, says, I don't think I'd vote for Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad guy. Well, it's subjective. There's no guidelines that you couldn't vote for him. And it should be noted, if Aaron was a bad guy, and because of his offseason, he put up huge numbers this year, but they were like, 10-7 and won the division. Bad guy could be used if you have good stats. What if Antonio Brown, by the way, very disruptive, had MVP level stats? Could you say, I just don't think he's good for the locker room? I don't think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a good teammate. He's just talented. Could you use the bad guy argument in that instance? Well, yeah. I said yesterday I'd vote Aaron 1 and Joe Burrow 2. And there's people that have stats and can argue. But I said one of the reasons, a strong reason for Joe Burrow being number 2 would be he has the poorest owner or the cheapest owner in sports. It's a dysfunctional organization. So I'm literally counting his general manager, the scouting, his owner. That's kind of subjective by me, isn't it? I say Derek Carr would get, if I had 4 or 5 votes for MVP, I'd give Derek Carr some. He may not make the playoffs. But poorest owner, interim head coach, everybody's hurt. I'm counting all sorts of stuff. So personality, if it's disruptive and you have great stats, you can consider, if you think somebody hurts the locker room, because I think Green Bay's got really, really good players. If they were 10-7 after Aaron didn't show up and it was all this stuff, but he had great numbers, you could say, yeah, I think he's been disruptive. They should be like a 14-13 win team. But let's not take one writer and say, well, that's what everybody thinks. That's just clickbait. I disagree with the writer. I don't think Aaron's a bad guy, and it clearly hasn't hurt the team. I think Aaron's complex. At times, he's a little condescending to everybody. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a wildly complex guy and a very smart guy and an incredibly talented guy. But it is not the most courteous or the most likable or the most relatable. It's not. We know that. But most valuable is very interesting. I've talked about this years and years and years. The most valuable person in my family, the most valuable thing in my life is it my wife or my kids or it's my, I consider different reasons for each one. I'm not the same person without my wife. I couldn't imagine my life without my kids. If you looked at your life, what's the most valuable thing? It would be your house. Otherwise, you'd sleep on the street. Like, what does valuable mean? I think there's a lot of different arguments. I'm a Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, get 2 and 3 on my MVP list because they have kind of dysfunctional organizations historically. Does that count? Even in college football demands that you give a preseason top 25 poll. Now, think about this. You haven't played a game, and you've all lost to 30-year players that graduate. Well, how do I do that? You know how I do it? I've said it for years, and it ticks people off. I go look at your recruiting last 4 years. I haven't seen these kids play, but I know Alabama recruits 5-star kids, so even if they lose this, I look at their previous recruiting years, bang, 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 I'll put them top 2. So I'm looking at recruiting rankings because the sport demands that I put a top 25 vote in. You lost 27 players. You haven't played a game. I have no idea. You got a new defensive coordinator. I go to rankings. I go to recruiting rankings. So let's not overreact to one voter because Aaron's going to win the thing. And secondly, this stuff's always been much more subjective than you think. There are no guidelines on this. You should be able to consider a lot of things. If I had a vote, I would vote Aaron 1 and I would vote Joe Burrow 2, and it wouldn't be that disparate. It would not be that disparate. Joe Burrow is not far behind. To me, Joe Burrow is an inch behind Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has a great O-line, a star receiver, no chaos, excellent front office. They develop players. I mean, it's just total structure. Cincinnati's a mess. Joe Burrow arrives. We don't even know if Zach Taylor's a good coach. Joe Burrow arrives, and they win an excellent division. Green Bay's division stinks. I mean, Mike McCarthy dominated that division. So the media stop overreacting, but fans stop overreacting. It's one voter. Tiger Woods has bad holes, and he won the Masters. Like you can have a bad hole in golf, a bad game, a bad family member. Antonio Brown doesn't speak for the Buccaneers. He speaks for Antonio Brown. So I know a lot of you. I saw Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee YouTube show, and he was saying, he was kind of self-evaluating and kind of evolving. I thought it was something you don't hear professional athletes admit they were something and they're moving on. And one of the quote was, he goes, said Aaron Rodgers, I'm aging from making mistakes, from failing, from being too sensitive, from taking things too personal at times. I'm trying to get better at that. So first of all, Aaron deserves a lot of credit for that because most people don't like to do that. The second thing is, I know you guys all think I'm some California left-leaning liberal on social issues. I am. And I took a shot at conservatives earlier on, so let me take a shot at liberals. The worst quality of all liberals, and it's a horrible human quality. It speaks very poorly of a party, and not only liberals do it, but it's just constant, is they demand that you evolve as a person, but yet hold your previous mistakes against you. We were all idiots in our 20s. I said and did probably stupid things. Don't even remember them. It's like 35 years ago. People make mistakes. People evolve. People do bad things, and they're good people. You can't demand people constantly evolve and then hold them accountable for a tweet 9 years ago. Which is it? Sorry, we're not perfect. It's a bad liberal quality. Total turnoff for me. There you go. I'm even. I ripped conservatives earlier and liberals. Okay. But what I like about this with Aaron Rodgers is that Aaron is not a bad guy. He drives me nuts. He's condescending. There's some leadership stuff I don't like, but he's also really complex. So Aaron's a very, very complex guy. And the truth is, I'd rather have complex athletes than simpletons. There's a lot to unpack with Aaron. His family, some teammates, but he owns it. I'm trying to get past it. I've been too sensitive to that. He's my MVP. I totally appreciate it. And I've also come to terms with Aaron, and I put him in a very unique class, the John Elway, Peyton Manning class. I don't need another Super Bowl from Aaron. It will not ding him. Big Ben's got 2, and I don't even put him in the same class with Aaron. Eli needs a second Super Bowl to be a Hall of Famer. Because I didn't look at Eli and go, oh my God, he's the second best Manning I've ever seen. He's not even the best guy in his own family at quarterback. In fact, there's an argument to be made. Archie Manning was the best athlete of all the Manning family. But Eli needed that second Hall of Fame for me to kind of elevate him to a Hall of Fame. Once John Elway won 1 or Peyton Manning won 1 and Aaron Rodgers won 1, he is so profoundly gifted, I don't need a second one. I won't ding him for it. It's like, I've always been an Aaron guy over a Favre guy. I've said that 100 times on this show. I think Aaron has evolved. He's more coachable, fewer mistakes. The gunslinger thing I thought was, it was fun. It was a good story, but it lost a lot of games. I've always said Aaron plays the position pre-snap, post-snap. I think he plays it intellectually at an all-time high level, like a Peyton Manning, Brady, like 5 guys ever. And a lot of smart guys don't always play smart football. Andrew Luck made a lot of bad throws. Russell Wilson, I love him. Families from Princeton. Russell's a smart guy. He makes throws. I'm like, ay. But so I was always an Aaron over Favre guy. But I will say this, is that it can't just be championships because Dan Marino, if you told me who are the 5 most talented quarterbacks you've ever seen, Marino's one of them. He's got no championships. Aaron's one of them. Peyton Manning's one of them. I'm not sure Brady's one of them. I think Brady's the most productive. Elway is one of them. Russell Wilson at his best, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything. Nobody can hit him. He never gets hit. So I think I've moved as Aaron's evolving. I think I look at Aaron and my opinion of him has evolved. I've never seen anybody except Dan Marino make the game look this easy. Marino made it look easy. But it felt like practice. He was just screwing around out there. Aaron's a close second. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.